May have heard, go woke, go broke. It's kind of the credo of the anti-woke social justice warriors. They've loved saying it over and over. They've been saying it for a long time, even though mathematically it doesn't make any sense, because they were saying it about, the Star Wars films and the new Star Wars films, and constantly saying that, like, because those movies went a little bit woke, or whatever they deemed to be woke, maybe it had a woman in a prominent role, or a black person, that's woke, oh my god, it's woke now, then those movies or TV shows or anything that actually inevitably goes woke will go broke. Now, woke is basically what they use as a catch-all term for basically thing they don't like. In a lot of cases, you can just replace it with the N-word, and you'll understand why they're saying that word over and over and over again, but they just love bringing it up every single time. And so they were saying that a lot about this new Superman movie that came out, which again is now the most profitable Superman film, I believe, of all time. It beat out Batman vs. Superman. Sorry to the Schneiderverse, I know that you take this kind of stuff very seriously, but it turns out that the film that actually was about hope, inspiring people, trying to talk about how at the end of the day, there's nothing more punk rock than being kind to somebody. And a lot of people have pointed out that it also talks a lot about some pretty serious geopolitical issues of our time. If you didn't know, the original Superman was actually a male power fantasy about defeating and destroying the Nazis, created by a Jewish Canadian and a Jewish American. And obviously, in this film, there are some parallels to the current crisis that is happening with Israel, both occupying Palestine, attempting to exterminate all of the Palestinians, and as well as the correlations between the military-industrial complex of the United States, tech bros, and their collaborations and all of this. And for a lot of people, it was a surprise, because if you're like me, you're probably superhero movied out, as in I'm just kind of really getting tired of seeing non-stop superhero movie after superhero movie after superhero movie. It's been done. I've seen the blue orbs, I've seen the gauntlets, I've seen the crystals and the boxes, and we've seen it all. Too many. It's getting boring. So it was actually nice and refreshing to have a movie that had some courage, and had a director like James Gunn who actually wanted to talk about maybe some deeper themes and actually, try and, I would say, hearken to the original purpose of the original comic book when it first came out.
And while 2025...
Are y'all still not over this? By this, I mean this one GIF. This was from Trump's first election. If you don't even know, I mean, it's just become the calling card for all things chud, where it's just like, look at this. Feminist melts down, screams. We're really gonna milk this one for all it's worth in perpetuity. How can you say the left can't meme when y'all are still using the same fucking meme? It's almost a decade now of this same face over and over. Is there no other feminists? Has there not been a single other feminist at any point? I know there's like the second one. They basically have those two pictures. It's always the same two faces. You see it in thumbnails, you see it fucking in their little like memes and shit like that, but like just one more. How about a third one? Come on.
And while 2025 has been a tumultuous year, one thing you can't say is it's been boring. Still, it might have made it difficult to see the forest through the trees. Some will say woke is dead, or at the very least on bended knee. Others will say they're just circling the wagons and waiting to rebrand. And while that is debatable, and believe me, we'll get into that, it is undeniable over the last 9 months, the woke industrial complex has gotten its ass kicked. Thanks to the aforementioned cultural shift that was long overdue. And what evidence do we have of the woke industrial complex getting its ass kicked, you ask, dear viewer? Good question. I would like to thank the ex-Twitter handle of Sir Bill Holt for putting together this gratitude list. CNN ratings are in a week-to-week death spiral along with MSM.
Wait, sorry, what? I was actually, almost certain it was going to be The Sound of Freedom. That they're going to bring up like some conservative film that, didn't really have a big chance of having a wide theatrical release, and then it absolutely crushed the numbers. CNN being in the turlet? I'm sorry, do you cover pulp culture for a living? Do you not know that like most mainstream media news sources are in the toilet because that demographic is aging out? It's been very well demonstrated for a long time. Fox News has been the leader in late night news, not because it's the best news source on television, but because, again, it was hyper-focused on a very conservative and right-wing slant, which also aligned with the viewership of people who were watching late night TV via cable news. But now that is becoming a thing of the past. The younger generations are not getting their news from fucking the cable. They're not getting their news from the newspapers. You know, there's not really newsies running around seeing extra, read all about it. They're watching the TikTok. They're watching the Twitch and the streamers.
BC's Rachel Maddow had to take a pay cut. Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper were denied raises. Joy Reid was fired. Jim Acosta is gone. Neil Cavuto is gone. Lester Holt is gone. Chuck Todd is gone. Chris Wallace is gone. PBS defunded.
Okay, sorry. Chris Wallace is gone proves that woke has been destroyed. Got it. It's kind of funny that as much as they like to pretend to be outsiders, I'm talking about right-wing chuds, my god, you will never meet a bigger group of bootlickers in your life. Every single one of them. Just like, yeah, really sticking it to ya on the behalf of the corporations.
NPR is defunded. USAID is gone. And I'm sure USAID's demise had...
What does that have to do? Oh, sorry, this is just an overarching, this is why wokeness is dead. Because, you know, millions of children may now die from AIDS. So, got 'em. All that pre-digested food that was sitting in airport carriers in the US to be distributed to starving children is gonna be thrown out. So, fuck you, woke. Got 'em.
Has absolutely nothing to do with the things I have mentioned or I'm about to. Total coincidence. ABC was forced to pay $15 million for lying about the president. Paramount was forced...
Not true. They accepted a settlement because they had a much larger deal on the table, and that's the entire purpose behind it, right? It was that thing where they were about to do this $billion merger. They needed the approval of the Trump administration, and so in their eyes, they're like, okay, let's just give them this very, very small win. We can give them a couple $1 million here, but then we get to do the merger, which is what we actually care about. Money. All these companies, they care about money. And honestly, these same, like, you know, anti-woke fucking pop culture warriors, they don't give two fucks about the actual creation of art, about the fact that, you know, a lot of their favorite franchises are also owned by these multi-billion-dollar corporations that continuously fuck people over. It all kind of comes to a head when there happens to be some, say, I don't know, right-wing Christian group in Australia who are like, no video games for you. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what? Oh, feminists are trying to shut down the video game industry by denying payment systems, and they're going after Visa and MasterCard. Not feminists. No. See, those aren't feminists. Those are people who actually hate trans people. They hate LGBTQ plus people. They're pretending and masquerading as some kind of pro-women organization, but they happen to be far-right Christian conservatives, like you. That's the end result of all the shit that you advocate for all the time, including this.
Forced to settle for $16 million over editing a propaganda piece for 60 Minutes. The Associated Press, or as I like to call them, the Associated Narrative, had to cut 8% of its workforce. A good start. Justin Castro resigned. I'm sorry, Justin Trudeau. The Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. Woke Doctor Who was essentially canceled. The intersectional feminist...
You're basically like championing a lot of things that actually materially give you nothing. What do you get? How does it improve your life? Is your wife coming back to you when Trump renames the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America? Did you get a pay raise at your job? Do your kids talk to you? Did they call you up? Like, Dad, I know that we've kind of become estranged, but I just noticed it's called Gulf of America now. You were right. You were right about woke all along. We actually love you.
This Wheel of Time was canceled, leading to Amazon studio head, who's essentially Kathleen Kennedy 2.0. She was the architect of the Rims of Power. Jennifer Salke getting fired. Rachel Zegler's Latinx Snow White bombed. Captain African American bomb. As a matter of fact, every Disney Marvel...
It's like, sorry, Captain America. How's that film woke? Oh, I got it. Black guy. I mean, it's not really deep, but there you have it. Shall we take a little look at the top grossing films of 2025? A Minecraft movie, no surprise there. Lilo and Stitch, something that has been called woke by a lot of the people on the right. My god. Number 3, Woke Man. Oh my god. That was number 3. Number 5 was Sinners. Well done, everybody. Sinners was fucking awesome, by the way. Yeah. Woke as fuck. Gotta say. Also, awesome movie. Super awesome. So entertaining. I mean, you know, I would see it a third time in theaters if I could.
Movie is bombed. Late night ratings continue to tank. Morbidly obese people are appearing less frequently in commercials. White.
I love that he doesn't even have stats for any of this anymore. At this point, it's just him airing grievances. I hate seeing fat, and I think I see less of it. Okay. Oh, we're on to Sydney Sweeney.
People are back in commercials.
Let's switch channels. This show is done.
That was also the weirdest thing, because like, how far up your ass do you need the boot to be thinking of things like, there's not enough white people in my commercials? In your what? Wait, sorry, what? Even if you're a white supremacist, even if you're a person who believes in white genocide or other fucking nonsense like this, even if you're into the depths of foolishness beyond reproach, why do you care about fucking commercials? Like, doesn't everyone hate commercials? Don't you mute commercials? Don't you skip commercials the second the fucking the little tab pops up in the corner? Yeah, but I wanted more white people in the commercials, more representation.
Oh, you bet.
And we'll get to those last two in just a moment, but it is more than clear that the corporations in charge of our socials, information, and entertainment are in a bit of a conundrum right now. Because it turns out these cowardly, risk-averse companies who made a conscious decision to let the extortion DEI wolf in the door, which alienated well over half of your potential customers who you need to buy the products you advertise on your web pages or stick into your TV shows.
I mean, he doesn't say the quiet part quietly anymore. The masks are fully off. That is one thing that kind of sucks now. If there's one argument you can give them, is that like all of these white supremacists, they don't hide it anymore. They'll just straight up say like, well, our problem was never about, you know, what we consider there to be what you're calling racism. We're not racist. We don't care, all right? We're saying that you shouldn't do race swapping. I don't want to see like black mermaids, okay? Because mermaids, we all know, can only be Aryan and ethically pure. In addition to that, if there is a black character, all right, we just don't need them to be the main protagonist. I don't want to see a black Captain America, but I'm just saying because Captain America was white the first time, so he should be white forever in perpetuity. But now it's like, you're saying DEI, again, substitute, but you're saying DEI was a problem, and all these companies just went really hard on DEI. And now you're saying that you alienated half your audience, as in what? The white audience was unable to tolerate a character who wasn't white? And that's why, again, these same companies that you're considering to be woke are the most profitable films of the year? Like, why is Disney always in the top 10? It's like Walt Disney. Could it actually have a bigger problem here? That maybe these massive corporations just end up devouring and eating up all other companies, and over time, under capitalism, this is becoming a nightmare because one or two companies are going to control all media? That would be an actual thing to talk about. That would be a problem. But you've chosen this as your war because you think these companies care about civil rights. It's so weird. And it's still the same song and dance. It's still fucking Disney is pro-woke, which means that they are in fact trying to indoctrinate us and force us to accept diversity against our will, you know, and we just want to be racist. We just want to be proud white supremacists.
On streaming services, the same people you need to buy those streaming service subscriptions or news site subscriptions, the same people you need to buy movie tickets, are just over it. And I'm not sure if it's because the investor money is dried up or that USAID money is dried up, but it also turns out
that USAID money was going to Disney. Oh man, it's a good thing that fucking Elon Musk and Doge came in. So these goddamn fucking beta male snowflakes sitting here shitting themselves anytime they see a woman. Every single day. It's like, this movie's woke. It's gotta go broke. No, it turned out it was good.
That some people in some of these corporations that control our information, entertainment, and socials realize they can't just get by with half of the potential customer base. They actually need all of them. Now, is this shift that once again...
Here's the thing, though, and this is good news. The majority of white people are not fucking little babies soiling their diapers like this dude. They don't actually care about this. I know this because you can see it in the numbers, the raw numbers. When you actually look at the top 10 most profitable and grossing films, it turns out the whole going woke thing say that if you have a woman who's a Jedi, if you have a main cast character who happens to be a stormtrooper who's black, it didn't prevent people from going to see the movie. Around the world, everyone went to see the movie, even in countries that weren't majority white, because the majority of people aren't sitting there being like, but why aren't the advertisement featuring the cream skin no more? People don't give a fuck about that shit, and the vast majority of them had moved on, except for a small little group of weird ass fucking juvenile racists like this motherfucker who still sit there shitting themselves over the fact that, well, that ad for fucking what, laundry detergent had a non-white person selling the laundry detergent. Were you going to buy the laundry detergent? Does this affect you? Are you hurt? Did you want to watch more ads? Can we just get some kind of a channel that is just like the Aryan ad network, just 100% pure white people 24/7 for these motherfuckers so they can shut the fuck up?
Probably should have happened a few years ago, happening fast enough. No, but there are signs and portents.
And the portents say it is time.
Again, past time, but at least something is happening, and these aren't the radical changes we wanted, but I would say look more at the reactions.
Yeah, it's the rise of fascism. That's what you're watching in the United States right now. Unfortunately, it's going to be infringing upon everyone's rights. And the shitty thing is, a lot of the people that fooled you into thinking that this happens to be about DEI, Sweet Baby Inc., wokeness, all that kind of shit, well, while a lot of them may be white supremacists, they also hate poor folk. They do not like the poors, because this is ultimately going to be about class warfare too. And I'm sorry to tell you, but there's a lot of poor white people in America who are about to suffer a lot. What do you think happens during economic collapses? What do you think happens during depressions, recessions? What do you think happens when grocery prices are out of fucking control? When inflation is running wild? You can sit there all day trying to tell your audience, this is the immigrants and the woke and the trans people. But hey, there is going to be tens of millions of white people who can't afford fucking groceries anymore. And they're not going to care as much about this kind of stuff because they're going to be like, where the fuck do I get the money to pay for my groceries? And when that starts to happen, more and more and more, less people are going to have to, you know, sit there and buy into this shit. It's like the complete collapse of a society into a fascistic one that is obviously going to maintain and try and preserve capital, is going to fuck over everybody. Everybody. It is a disaster. It is the reason why in previous fucking administrations that have collectively started to do that, it had to effectively be destroyed at one point or another. Because it all funnels everything to the top. It's a dictatorship.
Than the actual actions if you want to get a white pill. Speaking of late night ratings and white people being back in commercials, let's look at what's happened over the last couple of weeks. You all remember the great Sydney Sweeney controversy that somehow, inexplicably, is still going on today. Where a jeans company did the unthinkable. They put an admittedly hot woman in a pair of jeans working a pun. Now I know that
no one cares that she's hot. Jean ads have always featured hot people. So most clothing brands advertise their clothing, actually. Just across the board. Yeah. No one cares that Sydney Sweeney's attractive. When you know how I know that? Because there's tons of ads featuring Sydney Sweeney that sexualize her or she sexualizes herself, and no one talked about them. I didn't even know they existed until right-wingers tried to use them to trigger the libs. And you started seeing all these fucking new Sydney Sweeney ad dropped from 2 years ago where she's eating ice cream and saying, do you want to lick me? Are you triggered, libs? No. No discussion surrounding that. Do you know why there was discussion surrounding this? Because she was talking about how she had superior genetics as a result of being white.
There's some dudes out there who will think Sydney Sweeney is mid, and I'll just say it's okay to be gay.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
And to show how far the bar has been lowered, this is Sydney Sweeney putting her best assets in baggy jeans. As most of you know by now, since Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign for American Eagle started, their market cap has increased by $400 million, which was fueled by a 20% stock increase. There's been an increase in foot traffic into the American Eagle stores, and the jeans have been selling out.
Wow, that sounds like it's real, except it's the exact opposite. According to Forbes, American Eagle foot traffic falls 9% year after year amid Sydney Sweeney controversy. Foot traffic at American Eagle for the past 2 weeks is down year after year, according to data shared with Forbes by retail company Pass By, marking a downturn in traffic since the company stoked controversy by unveiling an ad campaign starring Sydney Sweeney critics felt evoked eugenics. Foot traffic is down year after year by almost 9% at American Eagle for the week beginning August 3rd, according to Pass By data, which the company gathers from in-store sensors and other data sets like weather and seasonal brands. For the week beginning July 27th, foot traffic dipped by year over year by 3.9%, according to Pass By data, while traffic dipped just 0.27% by the week beginning by July 20th. For the entire 2 months before July 20th, foot traffic increased year after year each week, with American Eagle seeing a boost in sales year after year foot traffic by 4.85% for the week of July 13th and 5.91% for the week of July 6th. James Evan, Vice President for Marketing and Pass, said the size and spread of the decline points to more than just seasonal or economic trends. Brand sees momentum stalls so sharply, it often reflects a reputational or cultural factor cutting through to consumers. Well, it turns out that, yes, the majority of people wanted them to be just, I guess, a little bit more woke than eugenics.
Online. Oh, and I'm talking about American Eagle jeans on my channel. Is this a response to the worst forced error in marketing history, the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco, and the worst time and most ill-advised ad campaign in history, which just so happened to drop the same month the culture shifted, November 2024? That will be Jaguar. And the answer to that question is yes. And while Sydney Sweeney is plastered all over the Sphere in Las Vegas and New York Times Square, where fentanyl zombies are free to watch her all day, not everybody is happy. And these scholars, members of Mensas, sages, and wise women are not afraid to talk about it.
That's Nazi propaganda. Wow.
Those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
Pure Nazi shit. Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi.
That's racist! Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany.
That's one ugly bitch.
Thank you for sharing. And if Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle are indeed trying to sell some white...
I love how this all comes down to Sydney Sweeney hot, feminists ugly. Case closed.
supremacy, that was a pretty good ad campaign. But seriously, this is the win. The people who were upset in...
This is the win. Oh, man. Hey, by the way, if you happen to be a Nerdotic watcher and you're part of the 40% that hasn't subscribed, but you just maybe you hate watch him, or maybe you're an actual fan of the things he said, guess what? He's completely fine with every single one of you being lonely for the rest of your days. He doesn't actually want you to meet the Sydney Sweeneys of your dreams, because he's keeping you in this perpetual state where you're supposed to just be angry all day at these really, really made up things, and not the things that actually oppress you or make your life harder, even as a man. The things that make your life harder as a man, it doesn't happen to be the feminists online who had problems with the eugenics ad. That's not what actually makes your life harder. But now you're going to be a little bit angry and be like, yeah, those feminists are mad because they're ugly, and they're ugly women, and they're jealous because Sydney Sweeney's hot. And so yeah, that's my beliefs. Well, yeah, guess what? That entire worldview and going down that rabbit hole is not going to help you meet women. It's not going to help you meet a wife. It's not going to help you improve your lives. It's not going to even help you make friends. The vast majority of people, I'm guessing, who encounter you when you're starting to talk about shit like that are going to think you are very profoundly weird and fucked up. And these people know that. They know, because, like, at the end of the day, they just want the clicks. He just wants you to click on the video. He just wants you to watch it. He just wants you to laugh at the libs and laugh at the feminists and be like, ugly feminists, But at the end of the day, is it going to make you any happier? Is it going to improve your life? Is it going to make you be able to talk to people in public? Is it going to make you be able to actually talk to women? Is it going to make you actually find friends? The answer is no. It's going to be more and more isolating. You're going to have to go into further and further stranger communities to try and find other people who think like you. And it might surprise you, a lot of them will be white, racist, sexists. You're going to find that the only niche where other people want to sit and listen and tolerate this kind of bullshit is other people who are just as sexist and horrifyingly hate-filled as you. And then no, there is no happiness there, you know? That road leads to darkness.
Insanity was on display for everyone to see in just a few...
Bunker Cat, thank you for the raid. Can anyone check out Bunker Cat 36? I appreciate it.
years ago, American Eagle probably would have bent the knee, but they didn't. And now in the future, we're going to get more hot women in
ShoeOnHead got into this? Oh yeah, I should check out that ShoeOnHead video. I've heard all the talking points via Nerdotic. And mediocrity. Yeah. I mean, that is the sad reality. I've said the same thing about, say, you know, Tucker Carlson, white supremacist, absolutely. But Tucker Carlson also hates poor white people. Because he's also a classist. He doesn't care for the poors. So if you happen to be a poor white person, he's not going to be talking about how...
under a rock. You probably haven't heard that Sydney Sweeney was in an American Eagle commercial.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
She would simply call her a whore. But that's a good thing now, so we have to call her racist. I am going to be completely honest, I have no idea what movies Sydney Sweeney is in. All I know, she is a very popular celebrity, and I always see discourse on Twitter about her being mid. What is wrong with you people? Who is...
Discourse by who? Again, this is one of those, like, phantom fights I feel the right are always having, where it's basically just like, we're gonna make up a character, and we're gonna battle that character in our minds. It's gonna be awesome, alright? Because they talk all day about how, apparently, all these woke-ass feminists think that Sydney Sweeney isn't attractive. I mean, come on, have you seen a picture of her breasts? You're telling me this isn't attractive? What's wrong with you?
It's not mid nowadays. I saw Anne Hathaway get called mid the other day. Anne Hathaway. If these women are mid, I'm like a sub-zero. I'm like a -2. I am like a horseshoe crab.
I don't know, Shu. Maybe you're hanging out in the fucking incel misogynistic corners of the internet then. Because that's the only place I see doing this shit on a regular basis, where you'll see them post a picture of, like, especially older women, because apparently once, you know, you've gone through menopause, you have no value to society, so you see all these weird incels who are posting, like, these pictures of, like, gorgeous women. They should be so lucky. We're fucking talking about, like, Jennifer Lopez or Halle Berry, and being like, yeah, gotta be honest, boys, gross, but would. Like, gross but would? My friend, you would cut off your left arm for an opportunity to just dine in her presence and have her crush your balls. What are you talking about?
On the bottom of the ocean. Horseshoe crabs are pretty base, though. 445 million years, no evolution. That's me. Millions of years on YouTube, no evolution.
Manufactured in small quantities to ensure responsible and ethical production, while making sure each
Republican. I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
TikTok and Twitter absolutely blew up with thousands and thousands of people calling this ad fascist propaganda. Yes, they literally took the jeans and jeans pun to be some kind of Nazi dog whistle, because Sydney Sweeney is an attractive blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, which apparently has been an extinct species.
No. Jesus Christ. Again, like, there is no discussion that has gone on for fucking weeks on end surrounding any of the other ad campaigns. Sydney Sweeney has been doing so many ads for so many years. I know that now because the right-wingers keep posting these ads now, thinking that this is like triggering fucking some kind of magic elixir. And it's just, it's the fact that they tried to do a pun on jeans. Everyone knows this. You're either playing stupid or you're just trying to be like, I think people just hate her because she's ugly. What? I mean, hate her because they're jealous, because she's hot. Yeah. Jeans. Get it?
For so long in advertisement that when people saw this, they got scared and thought they saw the ghost of Hitler. Is Sydney Sweeney a Nazi? No. But do these people...
What about the Brooke Shields ad? Oh, you brought it up.
Life lies hidden in a genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. This may result in the origin of an entirely new species, which brings us to Calvin's and the survival of the fittest.
This ad, by the way, I think she was, what, 16 or 15 when they made her do it?
Calvin Klein jeans.
Oh my god, she turns into a swastika. She was like 14 in that ad, by the way. Really creepy. So at least Sydney Sweeney is of legal age. 14 is actually pretty old for Brooke Shields if you know her history and her lore. If anything, that is the most fucked up thing about this Sydney Sweeney ad, referencing an old ad of a child star who was abused.
Wait, I'm sorry, but that you were able to identify as a problem, but the current Sydney Sweeney ad, there's nothing to it? It's just because she's attractive and feminists are fucking jealous? Look, I'm willing to point out that it was kind of fucked that they were actually invoking this old advertisement where they took a 14-year-old and they sexualized her, and then there may have been some kind of eugenics discussions and perhaps even Nazi iconography, although, I mean, that one is up to interpretation whether or not that was actually the point. But either way. But the modern ad, I mean, people have lost their minds. Come on.
By Hollywood. But yeah, it was a callback to an old commercial. And Sydney Sweeney is the current day hot celebrity, so they chose to do it with her. They unfortunately failed to consider the fact that in current year, white people are not allowed to say that they have good genes because that is Nazi propaganda.
You get that it's fucked up and weird, right? Like, come on. Are you serious? Is that what you're advocating for now? Is that the new fight? Is Shoe genuinely just like, I mean, you know, the things have gone so far, people have lost their minds, they call everything a Nazi, they call everything fascist, they call everything racist. White people aren't even allowed to talk about how they're genetically superior to other races anymore. What are we doing here, people? Come on.
Blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
You don't get to drop lines
like equally terrible things to these people.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic.
Wow, it's the three same TikToks. That's weird how it's the same three that popped up on Nerdotic's channel, Matt Walsh's channel, now ShoeOnHead's channel. Huh, interesting.
Why? It's giving dick, okay? It's giving penis. It's giving cock.
I can't believe I actually have to explain this, but there is a reason that they picked a girl named Sydney Sweeney for this ad, and it's not just her blonde hair and her blue eyes. Sydney Sweeney is laying with her German Shepherd dog in this shoe.
Crack? In birth control nowadays? What is going on? She is a hot woman. She is a hot woman because of the way she looks. She looks the way she looks because of genetics. She has great genes. That is...
I mean, hey, you know, kudos to Shoe. She's not actually just hiding any of this shit. The reason why it's weird for white people to talk about how they have great genetics is that it's white people who did eugenics. That's why it's weird and fucked up. Apparently in 2025, white folk aren't even allowed to talk about how they have superior genetics or something like that. I don't know. The world has lost its mind. Well, there's some historical context to this, you know, being that it is white people who did the whole eugenics thing. So maybe they should just sit down in that discussion and stop talking about it and not get jealous if other people, you know, in some kind of, let's just try and push back against years and years of racial oppression, try to talk about how they themselves see themselves as superior. Oh, what? Black people are allowed to call themselves beautiful, but I can't say that I have superior genetics and therefore am more beautiful than other people. I don't get this. It doesn't make any sense to me. What's going on? I mean, unlike, you know, Nerdotic, she actually says it out loud.
Advertisements are always mirrors of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling.
Boo! A white woman. Oh, the fucking author is white. I hate these people, man. Shut up. Shut up. It's one thing when it's like a non-white person talking about how white people suck. It's like, okay, you're just racist. But when it's a white person talking about...
You're just racist. Hey, no more masks. The age of masks is over. It's gone now, you know? There it is. Yeah. Whew. Hey, I don't know if there's a non-white person, and they're talking about white people, and they're criticizing white people. You just immediately think they're being racist by default. What are they saying? What's their criticism? And if a white person wants to explain why white supremacy is bad, why is that a problem? I would assume the only people who would be pissed off at that are other white supremacists. It's okay for white people to call out white supremacy. It's okay for white people to call out eugenics. That's totally fine. Dare I say it's a good thing. I think more white people should do it. The world would be a better place.
White people suck. You need to be ground up into a pulp and fed to livestock. You would honestly be more useful that way. Ads are always mirrors of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling.
popular American culture is, indisputably, becoming more puritanical and more conservative. Puritanical? The focus of the ad was her tits and ass! This is not at all a conservative, puritanical ad. Have you seen what the puritanical right thinks of Sydney Sweeney? They think she's a
Boy, Chew, you're like, I think, 5 years behind or something? Or you're just living in a make-believe world? That's wild. No, they think her tits literally ended wokeness. That's the thing now. Apparently Sydney Sweeney's breasts alone were capable of destroying wokeness. They've leaned really hard into this. In fact, I don't know if you've seen this, but like, everything flipped. Now, conservatives are the ones that are sharing all these videos of sorority women in colleges dancing. They're celebrating these dances. These same videos that, yes, just a couple years ago, they were also sharing as the downfall of society. Talking about how they're all degenerate whores, and only degenerate whores would do things like this, and how dare they. Super, super fucked up. But yeah, I guess I'm pleased to announce that based on both Nerdotic and ShoeOnHead's white supremacist interpretations of what's going on here, wokeness is not in fact dead, as they would hope. It is in fact currently a much bigger issue, where there's a rise in fascism and white supremacy, especially in the United States, and they're just having a real big struggle dealing with that, because they want to look at all this through the lens of, well, I don't want to criticize capitalism,